Well, we have a pretty wide selection of plays at our disposal, and so the key each week is to run the plays that give you the best chance to beat the opponent. And so we're going to try to get our guys in the right position, get the ball to the guys we think can make plays, and do what we think is best to beat Detroit.
So what have you learned about being an offensive coordinator from your previous years in that role with the other teams that you think makes you better equipped to do that kind of thing?
Well, I think as you go along, you learn. Sometimes you have a favorite play or you have a concept that you think should work, but you don't have the players to execute it. So I think it's very important to first look and see, okay, who are your players? Who are the guys that you're working with? And what are the things that they do best? And I think that's what you learn over time. Guys I've worked with in the past, if a play doesn't work, we used to say, hey, put it on the shelf. And then you move on to something else that does. I think we as coaches are all fond of plays that work.
When you say you're not going to change a lot, is it fair to say you guys have already sort of incorporated some of this stuff and have had experience doing it, especially since Sam has had experience doing something like that?
Yeah, I think this year's offense, you would have to tell me, would maybe look a little bit different than a year ago, but every offense changes and morphs as the years go on. And again, it's because of the players that you have and your attempt to get them going.
What do you think the strengths are, or potential strengths are of this offense?
Well, I think, it's important first that we take care of the football. We have an extremely good defense. We play great on special teams. And, in the first few ball games, we took care of the ball well. Against Philadelphia, wasn't the case. So first, we got to take care of the football. And then it's important that we're efficient running the football. And then we got to find a way in the passing game to also be efficient, get completions, but then be able to get some big plays. And then certainly this game is all about scoring. So we got to find a way to get points, and preferably early in the game, because that helps our defense if we can get ahead.
Is tempo something that do you want to increase the tempo of the offense at all?
It's a part of what we've been able to do. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think everything you've done in your past, used strategically, can help.
Did you tweak or change whenever you went from coordinator to interim head coach last year? You guys have now it's a different situation. It's a the season, but 10 or 13 on third down, you had a 16-point drive. What things did you do different?
Well, we had an offense in place, and so again, anytime you have an offense, you have a pretty thick playbook, and so you just pick the plays that you think work best with the players that you have, and use them. And that's really what we did. And we just tweaked some minor things that may have not been very obvious, but it helps the players greatly. And so, that's one thing I learned. And it was about as quick a turnaround as this was with that role change last year. But that was just for a one-game deal.
Turner obviously had a lot of control over the offense. Do you anticipate having a similar amount of control as North did?
Well, I think the offense, we have great coaches. We have outstanding players, and there's constant communication about who's going to play and what they're going to do. So, I would like to think it's a collaborative effort, that we're going to do what we have to do to put together a winning performance against Detroit.
Matt, was being a coordinator again a goal of yours at the point of your career after you left Philadelphia?
I came here with the idea that I was going to be a tight end coach and contribute in any way possible. And things obviously changed greatly yesterday, based on Nor's decision, and then so you just move on, and then you take what you've learned in the past, you take and try to build on what's good here, and move forward. And I think that's kind of the reality of our business. There's change constantly, and it happens right around the corner sometimes. So then I think that's part of being a professional, whether you're a player or a coach. You deal with it, you internalize it quickly, and you move on. And I think the same is for a player. If they make a mistake, and players make mistakes frequently, you got to be able to admit you made a mistake. You got to be able to make the correction and then move on fast, because you got another play to run in another 40 seconds. So, some of that is what we do as coaches.
Pat, what's your level of concern with TJ Clemmings specifically, and what can be done to get him back on track?
Well, TJ's battled against some really fine rushers, and I've been impressed with how tough he is, how hard he works. And he's had quite a few really good snaps. Now, you know, for anybody, it's a matter of being consistent, and we're going to just try to do what we can to help all our players be as good as they can be.
Pat, how did you find out? You say you were working. Did Norv come in and tell you, or did Mike come tell you? How did it?
It was just a quick interchange. It was early in the morning, and Norv informed me of what happened, and then immediately after that, Coach Zim came down and informed me that my role was changing.
How much were you able to talk to Norv yesterday? And he's been here obviously 3 years. Did he give you any advice or any pointers in your new job or anything?
No, we talked. You know, we talked in the morning, and then the day got long yesterday. You know, I certainly intend to talk to him in detail here, at some point real quick.
Has he given you one piece of advice? Or I know you've been a coordinator, but has he given you anything?
No, I mean, it was, as you can imagine, there's a lot going on when something like this might happen. But we spoke, and he left the office.
Pat, where does pass protection sort of rank on the priority list this week with the game plan?
Well, it's always a priority. You need to run the ball efficiently, and you need to protect the quarterback. So it's always tops on the list.
And what are the pressures of being an offensive coordinator? Because typically an offensive coordinator, that seems to be the one job everyone thinks they can do better than you.
They get a lot of advice, don't they?
You do get a lot of advice. What's it like? This isn't the first time a team has guys that have stepped down and fired in the season, whatever. What are the pressures of that specific job?
Well, you're making decisions constantly, and the situations change, and so, having the experience of having done it before helps you. Putting together a game plan that you can call the plays based on what's best for your players is important, and then being able to rep them so the players can execute efficiently. So that's the challenge. And then, you just got to go into it with a clear mind. And, as the game plays out, we have certain things we want to do in certain situations, and you try to give the players the best one. And so that's the challenge. The pressure, that comes outside in, and I don't think we worry about that.
Do you pay attention to anything that's said?
No, I've learned that over the years.
Or
I frequently remind my mother to just quit reading that stuff.
Hey, how does game day work for you? Will you call plays from the field? Will you go up to the press box?
Yeah, the initial, we haven't finalized the total, change as to how it's going to work, but probably I'll be down.
What were your takeaways from working with Chip Kelly specifically?
Chip Kelly was an out-of-the-box thinker. We went in the first meeting, and the first thing he said was, we've done it this way always is not the right answer. So we were always willing with Chip to try to think a little bit outside the box, and we stumbled on some really, really good stuff. But there are some things that have been done in this league for a long, long time for the right reasons. And, I think, but I learned that from him. And he was really all into football. He loved coaching football. And so I learned quite a bit, actually.
Why down instead of up in the press box?
I feel better down, and I think it's in my opinion, it's a better communication to the quarterback.
And what will you do with the tight ends now? How much of the time will be devoted to that?
Still working with them, but we overlap in some areas.
You said you told your mom to quit reading everything, but has she given you any advice?
No, because she keeps reading the stuff.
Time for a couple more.
What was practice like for you yesterday? Like, the time we were there, so you kept fighting the urge to just hang with the tight end. You're supposed to kind of walk around a little bit.
No, I'm comfortable with that role. So, we have a certain amount of time spent individual, and then we quickly get to a group setting. So, I was all right.
Thank you. Thanks, Pat.